Hi everyone, it is Echo Music and I'm back for another 911 Lone Star episode review. Today I'm going to be talking about episode 411 titled Double Trouble and episode 412 titled Swipe Left. This will actually be a two-part video, and then in this first part we are going to be talking about all of episode 411 and the Marjan storyline from episode 412. So let's get started with the craziness that was 411.
What do you want to do? Exactly. You want to be a bum?
Firefighter.
A firefighter.
In fact, I was wondering if you could call the chief, maybe put in a word for me.
If you want me to call the chief of the Austin Fire Department for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed the application deadline for spring session, so maybe you just reached out, he could make an exception.
What's the damn rush?
We gotta need the money.
You need the money? Why?
We are having a baby.
Well, Judd was in for quite the surprise this episode. So not only is his son Wyatt dropping out of college to follow in Judd's footsteps and be a firefighter, but Wyatt and his girlfriend are also having a baby. Now I gotta admit, after this, I can't stop calling Judd Grandpa. But man, that is quite some news. And I gotta give mad props to Judd because he really remained somewhat calm in that scene. I mean, if I had dropped news on that to like my dad, he would have lost his mind. So mad props to Judd on that.
And I just don't want him to make the same mistakes I made.
That's not really up to you, though, is it?
Hey, you know what? A piece of it is up to me because he wants me to call the fire chief, just put in a good word for him and get him a spot on the roster here.
Hey, tell me something. If you could change any decision that you've made since the day you met Grace, would you?
No, I don't reckon I would. Does that mean call the fire chief?
Did I say that? No.
So?
All I'm saying is that if your biggest problem is that Wyatt turned out just like you, then you don't have a problem.
He ain't like me, Tommy.
So I really love this scene with Tommy and Judd. I think you really see a lot of character development in this storyline with Judd, which I think is really awesome. You know, Wyatt, he looks up to Judd. He looks up to his father, and he wants to follow in his footsteps. And Tommy has to remind Judd that it's not a bad thing for Wyatt to follow in his footsteps. Judd is a great human being, and I agree with Tommy on that. And thankfully, later in the episode, Grace comes in with some wisdom because Judd thinks that Wyatt isn't tough enough to be a firefighter. So Grace tells Judd, well, you gotta make him tough. So I'm hoping in the future that we get to see Wyatt as the new Proby at the 126.
Hey, cuz!
Yo, what's up, cuz?
Yo, say hi to the crew.
Yo, what's up, crew?
That's hilarious, Mateo. Now, can we please get back to work?
What's hilarious?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. Is that a real whole nother person?
Yeah, this is my cousin from Cali, Marvin.
That's your twin?
No, not twin, identical cousin.
What?
No, that is not a real thing.
Yeah, sure it is. You never seen Nick at night?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't call us identical cousins, because, you know, I'm better looking.
Yeah, you wish, Marvin. Hey, check this out. This is Nancy.
Oh, this was the shorty you were telling me about?
It's my tall shorty.
Hi, it's so nice to meet you.
Damn, you're really punching above your weight, huh, cuz?
And I can't argue that.
Listen, I love to chat, but this isn't exactly a social call.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hold on. I'll be right back.
So this was an interesting episode for Mateo. We got to meet his identical cousin, Marvin. And if you didn't know, Marvin was actually a character on the OG 911. So basically this episode was a crossover between the two shows. Anyways, Marvin got himself into trouble. He has landed in jail for grand theft auto, and now he wants Mateo to pay his bail. However, it turns out that this is not the first time Mateo has been asked to pay his bail. But this is the first time that the bail is really expensive. So Mateo tries to ask Owen for the money, and Owen refuses. Owen tells him that it's time for Marvin to just ride it out and take the consequences. He needs to learn from his mistakes. And I really wish Mateo would have listened to Owen on this, because Nancy ends up helping him with the bail. And Marvin gets out, but he pulls another Grand Theft Auto and dies.
It's that dreamy Officer Reyes and his nincompoop sidekick. You think if I confess, they'll take me away in handcuffs?
We apologize for disturbing your breakfast. It smells delicious.
Except for the turpentine.
Where are my manners? Would you like some French toast?
Why, yes, we would.
No, we wouldn't.
No, we wouldn't.
I don't know if you've heard, but some vandals burned down the middle school last night.
Yes, we were just getting the skinny from our town crier.
We found this at the scene.
I'm so dead. And so deported. So much for having my back.
Well, that can't be from anyone in this house because around here we use only oil-based paint.
Mr. Zapruder down at the hardware store has surveillance film that proves otherwise.
They've got your nephew, young Mateo, on film buying toucans, sir.
Oh. Mateo, is that true? Mateo, we took you into this house and treated you like our own son, partially because half the time we couldn't tell the difference, but also because we love you like a son. I'm sorry, but I'm going to need to know the truth. What will we see on the Zapruder film?
Me. You're going to see me on that film, not my identical
So
cousin.
this episode was basically a Mateo Begins episode. And in order for the episode to give us a backstory on Mateo and Marvin, 911 Lone Star did something that I have hardly ever seen a television show ever do. They did a complete 360 genre switch. I think maybe the only time I could see any show doing that was when Grey's Anatomy did the musical episode. So this was really cool to see. You saw them go from a drama show to like a retro sitcom. Now I gotta admit, I'm not a huge sitcom fan, but Milkman Judd and Dreamy Officer Reyes and his nincompoop sidekick really had me cracking up. And at the end of the day, we learned that Marvin has actually taken the fall for a crime that Mateo committed. And that's why all these years, Mateo has continued to pay his bail, because he felt like he owed it to Marvin because he saved his life. Now that was really cool to see, and I hope you really enjoyed episode 411. Now we're gonna move on over to episode 412 and talk about Marjan's storyline.
It's like my teta used to say, flowers bloom but are not gone too soon. Except these.
Your teta?
It means grandma.
Yeah, I know. I'm Lebanese.
No way.
Yes way.
What?
So, it says in your profile you're a tax attorney. Is that right?
It's what I do, but it's not who I am. It's not my passion.
Oh, well, what is your passion?
I work in the international dog rescue space.
Wow.
It's kind of dorky, but I love pretty much anything Harry Potter.
I'm suspicious of all earthly passions, honestly.
Right now, I'm obsessed with my dogs.
I crowdsource financing to arrange flights for dogs to get off the streets in countries all over the world and into loving homes. We fly dogs from Iran to Canada, Costa Rica, the US. The needs are endless.
It's incredible.
I know it sounds silly, but I think of them as my kids.
Oh, no, that doesn't sound silly at all.
And speaking of, how do you feel about kids?
Like, how many?
8.
8.
Yeah.
So after Marjan finds out that her ex just had a baby, she decides to get back out on the dating field. Except for Marjan, dating isn't easy because Marjan is a Muslim. So these dates need to be chaperoned. I think it's really awesome that the show has taken the time to showcase a little bit of the Muslim religion. It's not every day we really see a character like this on a television show, so I really appreciate seeing that. Now, this dating montage that we just watched was really, really fun to see. I love how the 126 came together to help Marjan out. However, not all these candidates were good candidates. I mean, one of them wanted 8 kids. Oh, hell no. But I did absolutely love the guy who rescues dogs. I mean, anybody who rescues doggies have a place in my heart. And Marjan felt the same way. So let's see what happens with this guy.
Some sense to me.
How's she doing?
She's good.
This officer needs to talk to you.
Oh, being arrested, huh?
Afraid so.
You don't have to handcuff her, do you?
I think we can skip that part, but I do have to read you your rights.
Yes, point. I understand. Yasir, you rat bastard!
Farah?
God's gonna get you for this, and so is my mother!
Is that
Yeah. Yes, it is. Fauza, what the hell, dude?
Marjan?
Wait, you know her? You know him?
Not as Yasir, but yeah, Fauza.
That's his brother's name.
Does he have a twin?
No. Oh, you're gonna hear it from my lawyers and all my uncles! Please take me away, sir.
No. They're gonna go with them. I'll meet you in the hospital.
Well, let's,
You can forget about Saturday night, too.
This is so disappointing. You are a disappointment.
Well, while at a scene, Marjan discovers the real side of Fauza. Yeah, it turns out he has a pregnant wife, and he was at a hotel cheating on that wife. I had such high hopes for this guy. But later in the episode, Marjan does get lucky when she invites her physical therapist, Joe, on a date with Paul and Asha. I am super excited that Paul and Asha are still together, and I can definitely be on board with Marjan and Joe. Did you know that the actor who played Joe is Natasha, who plays Marjan's real-life boyfriend? Yeah, I really think it would be awesome if we can see more of Joe in the future. So let's talk about my top 5 ranks when it comes to episode 11. Unfortunately, this episode did not place in my top 5. The sitcom part was fun, and I really loved Judd's storyline. However, Mateo's storyline really wasn't my fave, and it just lacked the emotion I like to feel when it comes to my favorite episodes. So I want to say thank you guys so much for watching part 1 of this video. Head on over to the link in the description to watch part 2. It is all about Tarlos.